This story and these circumstances really are quite exceptional. And my thoughts and feelings are with the Colaco Brookfield family as we tell the public about this story. Mr. David Brookfield came as an experienced walker back into this beautiful area of the Ogwen Valley, intending to do really quite an amazing route, starting going up into the Carneddau from Shayne Ogwen. And the route would have been 15 kilometres long. It was January 2024. Really nice weather actually, but forecast to deteriorate later in the day. And his final summit, which is behind me now, would have been Ogwen. Sadly, on that day, something went wrong and he was lost on that night. Sadly, we weren't able to find Mr. Brookfield during those first days of searching. The weather worsened. Snow continued to fall. After a few days and first couple of weeks, we realised there was not any more that we could do from the ground. In May 2024, the Coastguard helicopter crews were flying through this valley on a training exercise, and one of the winchmen was looking out of a door or a window and suddenly spotted something. Caught his eye, and something blue, light blue, that really would stand out in this terrain. And they were really quite sure that what they found was, sadly, the remains of Mr. Brookfield. So while we were carrying out that investigation process, one of the team members found a jacket, and it was an older jacket, one that seemed to have been there for really some time. But deep in the psyche and the memory and the minds of this rescue team was one other person who'd been missing since 2012, this young man who's Shayne Colaco. Later that week, I started looking at details of what Mr. Colaco was wearing, what he was driving, and I was quite amazed to find that the jacket that we recovered when we were recovering Brookfield was very similar to the jacket that Shayne Colaco was wearing on the day he went missing. And the car key was similar to the car that he was driving. Suddenly, we realised we may have a clue as to where Shayne may have been. And he'd gone out walking in this incredible area. He had a plan. He'd given information about where he intended to go, but he never came back to his car and hadn't been seen since. And incredibly, within just a small number of days, we had an answer. And this key was the key to Shayne Colaco's car. The drone operator went up to that location and actually stood in the area where we had the recovery operation from Brookfield. And something quite incredible happened. Whilst he was looking for somewhere to put the drone down to fly and start that survey, he noticed something on the ground, almost exactly where we were recovering Mr. Brookfield. And it was a piece of fabric under some brush and some twigs and the detritus that had washed down the gully. And he just made a very careful inspection of what he was looking at, and quite incredibly realised that he'd actually discovered the remains of Shayne Colaco. What's really amazing about this story is that so many of the people on the team on that day had been involved in the searches 12 years before. The winchman who saw Mr. Brookfield from the helicopter only a few weeks before was also part of RAF 22 Squadron looking for Shayne Colaco 12 years earlier. This brings so many people together around two really sad stories, but it shows the amazing willingness of volunteers and the emergency services to keep working and being so determined to find somebody who's been missing. This place is incredible, it's beautiful, it's really accessible, it's easy to drive here and to look up at the mountains straight out of the car. And these mountains, especially on a day like this, they look achievable, they look accessible, and it's an amazing adventure. But you might not always understand the scale of these hills. You might not always understand the impact of weather and how quickly it changes here. And if you don't have experience of walking and climbing and years of that experience, you're learning as you go. And so we have a very simple safety message, is be prepared in the mountains, understand what your limitations are. Seek out some formal training and tell other people where you're going and have a communication plan. Also, very, very important, something we'll often forget. You might have a plan to how to get to the top of a mountain, but how are you getting off that mountain? Have you researched what your descent route might be? Understand how to contact emergency services. So if something goes wrong, dial 999, ask for mountain rescue, and the police will put you through. Make sure you've got the right clothing for the weather. Make sure you've got enough food and drink, particularly if it's hot. I would also say wear bright clothes. If you're wearing bright blue or bright orange and red and something that doesn't naturally blend, it's going to be so much easier to find you. Looking back at these two cases with Shayne Colaco and Mr. Brookfield, we realised they were experienced walkers and they were doing what they loved. Actually very well prepared as well, but it's always possible that something will go wrong. And in these cases, both of them ended up in ground, which really is very dangerous, and descending down a gully, which might have seemed inviting from the summit, but as it got steeper and more broken, it became harder and harder. I think this is a good opportunity to express our gratitude to the volunteers who were involved in these cases and rescues every week throughout the year, and they all come together with the sole purpose of saving lives and protecting people in the mountains. For me, I volunteer because it's incredible. It's an amazing adventure, and you realise that it brings value to other people's lives, and I'm very grateful to be part of that. And in fact, helping where somebody has passed away and bringing them back off the mountains for their families and loved ones, for me, that's a massive privilege. We want you to come and enjoy these beautiful mountains in Eryri in Snowdon. It is amazing, but come and be safe and enjoy it.